Well, hold on. This officer is the officer that the president said he was surprised he stayed alive.
Right.
And he's probably in the hospital right now.
An ICE agent shot and killed a mother of 3 in Minneapolis. We have it on video from multiple angles showing he wasn't in danger. And now the Trump administration is blocking the state from investigating. Homeland Security calls it self-defense. Trump says the officer was rushed to the hospital, but then we see him walking around fine right after killing her.
But before I get to any of these details or reactions in video, I think it's important to recognize who this woman was. So Renee Good, as I said, 37, had just recently moved in Minneapolis. And there's this great piece here from the Star Tribune breaking down who she was. I just want to highlight a few paragraphs here. Renee was one of the kindest people. This is from her mother. Renee was one of the kindest people I've ever known. She was extremely compassionate. She's taken care of people all her life. She was loving, forgiving, and affectionate. She was an amazing human being. She also described herself on her Instagram account as a poet and writer. Good had previously been married to Timmy Ray Macklin Jr., who died in 2023 at the age of 36. Macklin's father, Timmy Ray Macklin Sr., was shocked to hear the news that Good had been shot and killed. He said Good and his son had a child who is now 6 years old. Here is the New York Times breakdown of what happened.
One of them grabs at the door handle and reaches inside. The SUV reverses, then turns right, apparently attempting to leave. At the same time, the agent filming crosses toward the left of the vehicle and grabs his gun. He opens fire on the motorist and continues shooting as she drives past. The moment the agent fires, he is standing here, to the left of the SUV, and the wheels are pointing to the right, away from the agent. This appears to conflict with allegations that the SUV was ramming or about to ram the officer. President Trump and others said the federal agent was hit by the SUV, often pointing to another video filmed from a different angle. And it's true that at this moment in this grainy low-resolution footage, it does look like the agent is being struck by the SUV. But when we synchronize it with the first clip, we can see the agent is not being run over. In fact, his feet are positioned away from the SUV.
The New York Times breakdown shows exactly what happened. The officer is to the side of the vehicle, wheels turn away, and he fires anyway. Then he shoots 2 more times through the side window. If you can lean over and shoot through a side window at someone's face, you're not in danger of being run over. The geometry doesn't work. DHS policy explicitly says don't shoot at moving vehicles. Get out of the way instead. The officer violated his own department's rules and killed a mother of 3.
We're going to get to the reactions from Trump, J.D. Vance, Elon Musk, just outright lying about what we can see for ourselves on video from multiple angles. First, just worth pointing some things out. Her glove compartment was full of stuffed animals. This image shows that there was only one shot through the windshield. That was the first shot. And again, this is as the officer is already to the side of the vehicle. And then he shoots 2 more through the side window, showing that he was not in danger. Because if you're able to reach through the side window that was already open and shoot at somebody's face, you clearly are not in danger. This doesn't need debating. Here is John Miller on CNN with a very important point.
We did this in New York in 1994, 95. We changed it in LAPD when I was there in 2004. But it's basically simple, which is if you're confronted by a moving vehicle that could be a threat to you, get out of the way of the vehicle and don't shoot at a car. Now, this is DHS policy. I'm reading to you from DHS policy. DHS law enforcement officers are prohibited from discharging firearms at the operator of a moving vehicle or other conveyance unless the use of deadly force of the... Basically, it says, unless it...
This appears to be black and white.
Well, it does. And it also says a law enforcement officer must take into consideration the hazards that may be posed to law enforcement and innocent bystanders by an out-of-control vehicle, which we just saw the result of that. The point is, unless the person is literally either using the vehicle to ram other people in a terrorist attack, or has a car bomb, or is chasing you with the vehicle in particular, getting out of the way and reducing the tactical exigency where you're not creating a situation where you're forced to fire these shots is what most law enforcement agencies have adopted.
And very clear that that's what was there.
It's missing.
So DHS are prohibited at shooting at a moving vehicle. They were told to get out of the way. And instead, not only did this ICE agent get out of the way, he did get out of the way. He decided still to shoot at the woman driving the car, even though she was not a threat to him or anybody else. Now, there's also a clip of a doctor. This is also included in the CNN breakdown. But a doctor comes on scene saying he's a physician. ICE agent, I don't care. They shot her 3 times and then denied her medical care when they had a doctor right there. It's just cold-blooded murder. Here's Homeland Security with their take on the whole thing, despite us all seeing what happened. ICE officers in Minneapolis were conducting targeted operations when rioters began blocking ICE officers, and one of these violent rioters weaponized her vehicle, attempting to run over our law enforcement officers in an attempt to kill them, an act of domestic terrorism.
Homeland Security calls this domestic terrorism and says she weaponized her vehicle to kill officers. The video shows her waving them through trying to leave. They claim officers were hurt. No officers were hurt. Trump says the officer is recovering in the hospital. Then we see him walking around the scene completely fine. We have video from multiple angles, and the government is just making shit up. This is state propaganda, hoping you won't watch the footage yourself.
An ICE officer, fearing for his life, the lives of his fellow law enforcement, and the safety of the public, fired defensive shots. He used his training and saved his own life and that of his fellow officers. The alleged perpetrator was hit and is deceased. The ICE officers who were hurt are expected to make full recoveries. No ICE officer was hurt. This is the direct consequence of constant attacks and demonization of our officers by sanctuary politicians who fuel and encourage rampant assaults on our law enforcement, who are facing a 1,300% increase in assaults against them and an 8,000% increase in death threats. Absolute horse shit. Homeland Security, the official government account, straight up lying about what happened. Donald Trump, what else do you expect? I'm not even going to read all this garbage. All you need to know is that he also clearly fucking lied. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it is hard to believe he's alive, but is now recovering in hospital. Are you fucking kidding? And the attached clip he shows is the one shown in that New York Times piece, the one being claimed. Oh, look, let's look at the furthest away view where everything's blurry. Oh, yeah, he was hit. And then you see the close-up videos, and no, he was never hit. He was never in danger.
The agent who fired the shots walks up to the vehicle, then walks away, telling other agents to call 911. As I said, Homeland Security.
But wait, hold on. This officer is the officer that the president said he was surprised he stayed alive.
Right.
And he's probably in the hospital right now. He doesn't look to be.
There he is, walking around right after he murdered a mother of 3. Rushed to hospital. Amazing he lived. Oh, yeah. She was violent. You could even hear her say here, I'm pulling out. Here's Elon Musk. She tried to run people over. Grok, his own AI, even corrected him. Based on descriptions from multiple sources of the video, it shows the vehicle moving slowly backward and forward without clear evidence of attempting to ram officers under objective standards like Graham v. Connor, which require an imminent threat for deadly force. I would not authorize lethal force solely on this footage. And then here they are apparently celebrating right after, patting each other on the back. Job well done. Here is Greg Kelly. This is a Newsmax host. Complete lunatic. Totally justified shooting, not even close. And then curious about these stickers on the back of her car. Various whack job groups and affiliations. So the first one there, KCO, must be a whack job group. That is the Kansas City women's soccer team. This is these whack job groups. The other ones apparently are from national parks. Greg Kelly, though, I'm sure is used to seeing lunatics like this drive around and just assumes everyone else is doing this. But no, that's you and Trump supporters who don't exist in reality. Here is Osmongold, or Asmongold, whatever the fuck his name is, saying, R.I.P. Bozo. They told her to get out of the car. And by the way, in case you don't know who this is, massive online streamer on Twitch, YouTube, complete loon, disgusting human being. They told her to get out of the car, and then she put it in reverse and tried to run over an officer and drive away. Here's a clip of him talking about this. This is what Twitch and YouTube allow on their platform.
Off, he shoots her right here. Yeah, there it is. You see right there. Oh, wow. And then he shoots her. Gotcha, bitch. And then he shoots her a couple more times to finish her off.
Asmongold watches a mother of 3 get killed and says, gotcha, bitch. Rip Bozo. Finish her off. One of the biggest streamers on the internet treating someone's execution like entertainment. J.D. Vance says it's a tragedy of her own making. Fox News goes after her identity, pronouns, lesbian partner, poet, doing character assassination on a dead woman. Elon posts she tried to run people over, and his own AI Grok corrects him, saying this doesn't meet standards for deadly force. These people are either lying or celebrating, and they're doing it while a 6-year-old just lost both parents.
Absolutely rip fucking Bozo. The only thing you have to do is crush them. You crush them completely. You never go like after you say, basically after you run one of them over, right? Or you shoot one of them for trying to run you over, then you victory lap around it and you send in more people and you do it even more.
This is a millionaire over content like that. And this is a 60-minute long video, by the way. I will link this below the video. It's a compilation of all of his fantastic moments of being a massive piece of shit.
The woman who lost her life was a self-proclaimed poet from Colorado, with pronouns in her bio. A 37-year-old white woman named Renee Good. The Daily Mail says she leaves behind a lesbian partner and a child from a previous marriage. She was a disruptor, though she considered herself a legal observer. But there's no evidence she had a law degree.
Here is Governor Tim Walz, Minnesota, saying, I've seen the video. Don't believe this propaganda machine. The state will ensure there is a full, fair, and expeditious investigation to ensure accountability and justice. Here is Tim Walz the next day, where apparently they're not allowing them to investigate.
Yesterday, the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, the BCA, spent the day yesterday attempting to get that accountability. We have learned that the Trump administration has now denied the state that ability to participate in the investigation. And I just want to make this as clear as possible to everyone. Minnesota must be part of this investigation.
Yes, so innocent that they are not allowing an investigation. That's what innocent people do.
The Trump administration is blocking Minnesota from investigating what happened in their own state. If this shooting was justified, why block an independent investigation? When you're innocent, you want oversight. When you're guilty, you obstruct. Meanwhile, thousands showed up in Minneapolis with candles to remember Renee peacefully. The government lies, right-wing media celebrates, and they're covering it up. But ordinary people saw what happened and responded with humanity. That's the difference between the people in power and the rest of us.